Before evil was known upon the earth, before the banner of immorality was ever raised, there was one woman, not born like other humans, not living as they did, and her destruction marked the beginning of the very first curse in the history of the children of Adam. She was ʿAnāq, the daughter of Adam. The books of reports and early traditions recount that ʿAnāq, the daughter of Adam alayhi salam, came into this world through a birth unlike any other known before her. While it was the custom among the children of Adam that they were born as twins, a male and a female, ʿAnāq was born alone, without a brother to share her mother's womb, an early sign of a singularity that was not destined for good. Her uniqueness was not limited to her birth alone, but extended to her very creation. She was severely deformed in form. She had 2 heads, and on each hand 10 fingers, and on every finger 2 long, sharp nails like sickles. Her appearance was terrifying, her form repulsive. No soul felt at ease in her presence, and no human could find familiarity with her. It is narrated from Ali ibn Abi Talib, may Allah be pleased with him, that he said, ʿAnāq was the first to commit tyranny upon the earth, the first to manifest immorality, the first to openly commit sins, the first to employ devils and to direct them toward the paths of sorcery. The root of her story, as the narrations relate, is that Allah, glorified and exalted, revealed to Adam alayhi salam specific names. Whoever uttered these names, the devils would obey him and submit to his command. Allah then commanded Adam to hand these names to Hawa alayhi salam, so that she might attach them to herself as a protection and safeguard against the plots of the devils. Adam obeyed his Lord, and Hawa preserved those names with utmost care, guarding them more fiercely than anything else. But ʔanāq was not like the others. When she learned of these names, she waited for her mother's moment of heedlessness. When Hawa fell asleep, ʔanāq secretly stole the names, taking them without her knowledge. And when those names fell into her hands, she opened a door that had never been opened before her. She summoned the devils by them, used them in sorcery, spoke words of soothsaying, openly committed sins without shame, and led many of the descendants of Adam astray. Thus, she became the first to establish immorality upon the earth, and the first to spread misguidance among humankind. With the passing of days, her harm intensified and her corruption grew immense. The earth groaned beneath her evil until Adam alayhi salam supplicated against her, and Hawa affirmed his supplication. Allah, glorified and exalted, answered their prayer. He sent against her, along her path, a colossal lion, greater in size and strength than an elephant. It attacked her in one of the caves, killed her in the most brutal manner, and tore her limbs apart piece by piece. She perished the worst of deaths, and Allah relieved Adam, Hawa, and their offspring from her corruption and evil. But the story did not end there. The people of tradition mention that ʔj the tyrant was among the descendants of ʔanāq, inheriting from her an enormous body and towering stature unlike anything known among humans. The reports narrate that the flood during the time of Noah alayhi salam did not drown him, for the water reached only a small part of his body due to his immense height. When he saw Noah's ark, he attempted to reach it in order to destroy it, but Allah blinded him to it, and he was unable to perceive it. ʔj remained alive until the era of Pharaoh. From his tyranny, it is said that he cut a massive rock the size of the army of Moses alayhi salam, whose number was said to exceed 600,000 men. He carried the rock upon his head, intending to cast it upon them and annihilate them all. But Allah, glorified and exalted, sent a bird which pecked at the rock until it pierced it. The rock slipped from his head and settled upon his shoulders, crushing his head within it, blinding him and rendering him incapable of movement, unable to act or to flee. At that moment, Allah revealed to Moses alayhi salam to kill him. Moses was strong and mighty. His leap spanned 10 cubits, and the length of his staff was the same, and he himself was tall in stature. Moses leaped toward him and struck him only with the tip of his staff upon his ankle. Uj fell from his great height due to the weight of the rock upon him, and he perished from the fall. The place of his fall corresponded to the width of the river Nile. His body remained cast there like a bridge. People crossed over it, and animals passed upon it as if it were a vast causeway, and it remained so for a long time. Other narrations state that his body was dragged for 5 months, each day by 1,000 oxen yoked to wheels, and yet they could not pull it more than half a cubit per day, until they finally cast it into the sea of Al-Kulzum. It is also said that they cut his body into pieces and then dragged it to the sea. Another narration states that his fall occurred in the deserts of Egypt, so they left him where he lay and buried him beneath rocks and sand until he became like a towering mountain. No one would know it was the body of a human being except one who knew his story. Thus end the accounts of ʿAnāq, the daughter of Adam, and what branched from her story in the tale of Uj the tyrant. Narrations transmitted by the people of reports and early traditions, within which lies a clear lesson. That tyranny, no matter how long it lasts, corruption, no matter how arrogant it becomes, and physical power, no matter how immense,